What's the craziest secret you pretended to have, only to discover it was real all along? When I was 13, I walked in on my parents whispering and quickly changing the subject, a constant in our house that always made me suspicious they had some big secret. My mind ran wild with ideas. But one day, after being told yet again that certain boxes in the attic were off limits, I joked to my best friend Sam that my family must be hiding treasure or something. Sam, always hungry for drama, dared me to invent a wild family myth. Caught up in the moment, I told her, dead serious, my dad used to be a secret agent, and he keeps all his classified stuff in those attic boxes. I'm not supposed to know, but I saw him coming home really late one night in a black suit, and there was a weird metal case with codes on it. Within a week, my made-up spy story exploded. My sister overheard me whispering about spies and secret missions to Sam, and before I knew it, she was telling everyone at school that Dad had been in the CIA. Suddenly, my quiet family became fascinating. Whenever my dad dropped me off, my friends would salute him and ask him in terrible fake Russian accents if he missed the motherland. Mom would just groan and say, "You started this. Own it." The whole thing became a ridiculous running joke. Anytime Dad fixed something around the house, we'd all gasp and say, "Wow, some real covert op skills." At family dinners, my uncle started calling him Double O Dad. It was hilarious, but I honestly started feeling a little guilty, especially when my little brother Jack began sneaking around with an old walkie. My parents never really denied it. Dad just smiled and winked whenever someone brought it up, which only made the rumors stronger. A couple of years passed. By the time I was 16, everyone in our circle knew my dad was an ex-spy, and Dad still played along. Then last summer, right before my birthday, everything changed. We were cleaning out the attic, and Dad said he wanted me to help sort through some old junk. Buried behind dusty boxes, we found a long metal lockbox. Dad hesitated for a second, then pulled out a small key and, with this half grin, unlocked it. Inside were stacks of faded documents, old passports with different names and countries, strange foreign coins, and black and white photos of Dad with people I didn't recognize, in places I've only ever seen on TV. There was a medal I'd never seen before, and a letter, yellowed at the edges, signed by what looked like a government official. I stared at the stuff, feeling my pulse hammer. "Dad, what is all this?" My dad looked at me for a moment, then shrugged. "Classified," he said, but his voice was softer than his usual joking tone. My mom came up and sat on the creaky attic step, watching us. "I always told him this day would come," she said. My dad sat down next to the box and finally started to explain. He wasn't a full-blown CIA agent, but for almost 5 years in his early 20s, he'd worked in government intelligence overseas, doing work he still couldn't really talk about. That was why he and Mom had moved so often before I was born. The medals, the coins, the photos, it was all real. Sam, my sister, and even Jack ended up crowding into the attic as my dad told a few safe stories about the countries he'd visited and the friends he'd lost and made. He turned over one passport with my same last name and grinned. "Guess your cover story was pretty close to the truth." Afterward, my family didn't need to whisper secrets in the kitchen. My dad let me hold on to the coin from a country that doesn't even exist anymore. The next time I saw Sam, I just said, "Remember when I told you my dad was a spy?" She gaped, and I just smiled. Because for once, the wild rumor I made up was true, and way cooler than I'd ever imagined.